Hello, and welcome to The Gist. I'm your host, Stuart Smith. Over the next hour, we're going to get the gist, or the understanding or overview, of the book of Daniel. God's judgment against Israel was swift, and with a Gentile king named Nebuchadnezzar from the Babylonian Empire. The king had instructed for some of the children of Israel to serve at the king's palace. Those who were without blemish, good-looking, gifted in wisdom, possessing knowledge, and quick to understand, and had the ability to serve, were taken into Babylonium as their captives.
Miért nem kell a főztönnek? De gyere, hát nem azért főztem meg, hogy ne egyél belőle finom, egyél. Finom. Miért nem akarod megenni? Miért nem akarod megenni? Hello! De, én akarom, hogy egyél belőle. Na, tessék. Nem, akarod? Miért nem? De akkor is kell enni belőle. Akkor is kell enni. Hello! Hey! Nem! Miért nem? Akkor aztán jó.
Nebuchadnezzar was awoken by a startling dream. Because the magicians, the astrologers, and sorcerers could not make known to the king what his dream was or its interpretation, he had ordered that all of them would be killed. However, Daniel was able to give the interpretation of the dream. And while he watched, he saw a stone cut without hands. It struck the image on its feet of iron and clay and broke them into pieces. Not long after his dream, King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold and had ordered all to worship it. While others bowed down to worship the image, Daniel's friends stood in defiance against the king's orders. They were thrown into the fiery furnace, yet they were protected. The king looked into the fiery furnace and saw 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they were not hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Nebuchadnezzar had made a decree that all people, nations, and languages should worship the one. Nebuchadnezzar had a second vision from God. This time he was as a great tree in the midst of the whole earth. Nebuchadnezzar was warned that he would be like an ox eating grass of the field for 7 years. But when the 7 years had passed, he was restored to his kingdom, and he honored God.
Lose your mind. 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 Lose your mind.
You tell your crew, I tell my crew, we party all night.
Lose your mind. Lose your mind.
Belshazzar was just slain by Darius. He just received the kingdom at age 62 and had set Daniel over all of his kingdom. And this didn't sit too well with anybody else in the governors. Now, even though Darius was tricked by his own governors, he still had to obey the law that he had signed and had to send Daniel into the lion's den.
The next morning, when the king had seen that Daniel was still alive, he brought those men who accused him and cast them into the lion's den.
You're the joy, 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 light in my soul. The joy, 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 making me whole. Though I'm broken, I am running into your arms.
Daniel having a second vision, this time of a ram with 2 horns. And then suddenly a male goat from the west came and attacked the ram and killed it. This goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
Hello and welcome to Daniel's library. Well, not his actual library, but it is the exact replica that he had in Babylon. It was in this room during his morning devotions, reading from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 10, that he had learned that the captivity of his people were coming to an end.
With this great knowledge, Daniel begins to intercede for the nation of Israel, confessing their sins before God, pleading with God to hear, to see, to forgive, and to listen and act. And God did listen, and he did act. He sent his messenger Gabriel to explain to him and gave him the revelation of the 70 weeks.
It is on this great river Tigris that Daniel was known to meet with the heavenly messenger, some say even Jesus himself.
Welcome back to the class of Revelation.
I hope you've enjoyed this evening's presentation of the book of Daniel, the overview, the gist. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.